Welcome to Stage Pass, your ticket to the untold stories and soulful tunes of Southeastern Virginia's best musicians. Thanks for joining us. I'm Michael Monahan, and this week, my guest is Andrew McNeely from the band Sea of Souls. What did you do before Sea of Souls, Andrew? Were you in another band, or how did you end up in that point?
I've been playing, semi-professionally and professionally since 1979. I was in band after band, and I was in about 4 local bands. And then in 1981, I joined a touring band from North Carolina, and that band had a tractor trailer, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll join. Sure. I have a tractor trailer. And it was pretty much live day to day. They promised me $10 a day to eat on, and all my bills were paid, like my car payment and my insurance payment.
Oh wow!
And also I was guaranteed a roof over my head, either in a hotel room or one of their apartments. And it was like college. I learned so much. But eventually, the $10 a day got a little rough. And I remember one time in particular, we were playing at the grand opening of a club in the band's hometown, Statesville, and we made $2,400 at the door. And I remember sitting at a table with the other guys in the band. The 2 of the guys basically ran the band, and I said, "Look, we just made $2,400. How about we go around 20 each?" Sorry, we can't do that. I was like, we just make $2,400, and you can't give me $20.
So what? Yeah. Were the main guys keeping the lion's share of the money and paying you guys a flat rate salary and all your expenses?
Supposedly, they were paying band bills.
Gosh.
Like the band paid for the hotel rooms, and and who knows, they were probably paying off the truck.
I tell you what, we've all got a history of those dark gigs that we took, right? Where you just one day you find yourself in someplace you never thought you'd ever be, and you don't want to be there, and you realize you're doing it for next to nothing.
Well, I remember we were in Mississippi, and the guy didn't pay us at the end of like a 3 or 4 night gig. And he tried to give us a broken Harley Davidson for payment. We're like, man, this ain't going to get us back to North Carolina. But I tell you, those type of situations, they say you can learn from failure. I got actually kicked out of that band eventually because the guitar player was a kid from Ecuador, and his father made trips to Ecuador and came back and had a lot of money. I don't, anything would be speculation on what he was bringing back with him. But he told the band he would give them $20,000 to buy equipment or record or anything if they hired his other son to play bass.
and that cost you the gig.
Cost me the gig. And I was so mad. I was so pissed off. And if they had told everybody that was the truth, I would have been fine. But they didn't. They made up, ridiculous reasons that weren't true. That was the truth. I got bought. They paid him off to get rid of me and hire his son. Which that's no big deal. But anyway, it really stung and made me want to start my own thing, so I couldn't get kicked out of it. That's happened to me many times, not getting paid. One time, we had a sound man that was like 6'5" and 300 pounds, solid muscle, and he rolled a road case right behind the beer coolers and just filled the road case with beer. So we paid ourselves in beer.
Well, I'll tell you this. Now, this was one of the funniest experiences I ever had in a band. Same situation. There was a club in the old days down at the oceanfront, and the guy was notorious for shipping the money off at the last minute. You never knew how much he was going to cut, but you knew he was going to try and cut something. And one night he had pulled it off, and the keyboard player decided he was going to get even. So on his way out of the office, he stopped by the freezer. Now, none of us knew this. He stopped by the freezer and he grabbed a large piece of meat, and he put it down the front of his pants. So we all get in the car and we go to the Waffle House. It used to be down on 17th and Pacific. And the keyboard, I got to make sure I don't say any names here. The keyboard player gets out of the car and his crotch is covered in blood. And I don't know what's going on. And I just look and I said, dude, what the heck? And he goes, oh, and he pulls out this giant slab of meat and he tells me I took this because he ripped us off again. And I said, but were you going to eat it later? I was like, what in the world? Let's talk a little bit about the record. You told me the other day, and I thought this was fascinating, that the opening line to Dreamland you got from looking at an album cover. Can you tell me about that again?
There's an album. My older brother was a keyboard player, and so I got turned on to Emerson, Lake and Palmer at a very early age. And I was around 12 years old, and I got Tarkus for Christmas, and I wore that album out. I mean, I played it so much nonstop for a year, and on the cover of that album is this basically an armadillo that's made into a tank. So it's got an armadillo's head, but it's got a tank body. And I was writing this song, and I was using basically imagery, dream sequences. And so the first line is, "Get in your plasticized armadillo tank and saddle the ostriches and gather the ranks."
That's such a unique way to come up with inspiration for lyrics. I'd never heard of anybody doing that. I love it.
I like tipping my hat to people that have influenced me. I think and it's kind of hidden. It's not overtly placed, but yeah, it's fun.
You were one of the guys I really wanted to involve in this podcast because, well, for one thing, we've known each other for a long time, and you just, top of mind. I know what kind of music you do and what the quality is. And we stumbled a bit at first because I needed you to do something acoustic, and that meant a lot of effort on your part to line that up. And then, as luck would have it, Brenda Barkley, who is tied in with me doing what I'm doing for WHRV, she saw, or I think I told her that I was going to try and line up an interview with you. And so before we could do anything, she called you up and said, "Do you want to be on Coast Live?" And so what it led to was actually a pretty pristine acoustic version of the song for me to use on here. So
yeah, that was very, very fortunate.
Yeah, it was. And you guys sounded great. You did 2 songs on there too. I was kind of surprised you got away with the second one.
Yeah, they told us it was that we weren't sure how much of the song was going to be played. It was like for the outro credits.
Get in your plasticized armadillo tanks, saddle the ostriches, gather the ranks, look for the tangerine clouds in the air, put on your gas mask, breathe if you dare, 'cause this is your dreamland, fight for your life. This is your dreamland, fight for your life, for your life. For your life. Paratroop monkeys fall from the sky, turn into snakes with the blink of an eye. Suddenly cannibals come into view, some of them purple and some of them blue, 'cause this is your dreamland, fight for your life. This is your dreamland, fight for your life. For your life, for your life. From the heat of the knife, maybe you wake from the sound of the gun, maybe you wake being stomped by the ostriches, maybe you wake 'cause you're snoring. This is your dreamland, fight for your life. This is your dreamland. Fight for your life, for your life, for your life.
You told me this the other day, and I can't quite remember. Is it 7 albums that you guys have recorded?
I think it's 6 albums and a sort of a greatest hits, and it's a compilation of one. It's a 2-disc set called Anthology.
Yeah.
And one of the discs is sort of a greatest hits off our studio CDs, and the other disc is stuff that we recorded before we ever made a CD.
The new CD. Where did you guys go to record that? Did you do that locally?
Yeah, we did. There's a guy named Chris Kendrick who has a studio called Whiskey Bear Studios, and he's got a great ear, and he knows Pro Tools, like the back of his hand, and we were very happy to record there. We think it came out sounding sonically as good or better than our other studio album.
Yeah, it really does. In fact, I don't remember how I stumbled across it. I know it was in Spotify, and I hadn't talked to you in a while, and I saw that, and I was like, oh my gosh, they've put out a new CD. And the minute I started playing it, I was like, this sounds great. And the production on it is awesome.
Thank you. Speaking of Spotify, it's got this thing called Spotify for Artists, and they give you so many analytics on who is listening to your music.
Mm-hmm.
And it tells you where they are listening to your music. And so we got one guy that loves us in Prague.
That's so funny because they do the same thing for podcasters. They have Spotify for podcasters. We can go in and see your analytics. Right. And I was shocked to find out we have a listener in Hong Kong.
yeah, there you go.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Sadly, we are like 85% male, and more guys listen to us than girls, which that's troubling.
But I think do you think that's the nature of the genre?
I think so. Yeah.
Because I mean that makes sense. I mean, I remember as a kid, no girl that I dated ever liked the Black Sabbath that I played.
Right. And I remember going to Yes concerts and thinking to myself, this is where I need to find a girlfriend, because if she likes Yes, she's a rare bird.
Isn't that the truth? Yeah, it's funny. I think that's why I ended up doing acoustic music, because I noticed that all the guys like the really hard rocking bands and all the girls love the solo dudes.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I wanted to tell you too? I just saw this today that Spotify has opened up a merch hub for bands. So
yeah, I've seen that. I saw like T-shirts and
yeah.
I might go into that because we have sold our logo. Something I came up with, which involves a cross and the SOS letters.
Yeah,
and it's gone around the world.
Yeah,
I mean, I've seen guys, in magazines wearing our shirt, and other rock musicians, and yeah, the logo has been very good to us.
Yeah, it's a great logo, and I saw that and I thought of you right away, because I thought, man, and that's just right up Andrew's alley. He could definitely sell some.
Yeah, it really is important to get good merchandise, especially now when you don't make any money off your records.
Right. Well, I mean, gosh, and of course everybody knows Grateful Dead kind of made the template for handling their own merchandise, and Dave Matthews did the same thing. I mean, when he first started out, I mean, he got a hold of his rights to all of the merchandise, and that floated him through a lot of lean times, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's definitely been very helpful.
When will you guys play again? What's the next thing you guys have on the book?
We're playing every now and then. We play on the north side. We're playing at Haas's December 22nd.
Nice.
We're not playing a lot of bar gigs
right
this year. We're doing like special events, and I really love playing at Elevation 27. And that's just a great sounding stage.
Yeah, it's a great sounding room. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I saw Johnny Winter there a couple of years ago, and I was blown away at how good it sounded. I didn't expect it to sound that good just from the looks, you know.
Yeah. I think Bill Reed put a lot into making it sound good. He knows what to do.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
But I'm looking forward to playing there as in an opening act capacity. Like we did the show with Kicks there recently, and that went real well.
Yeah, so, and you guys open up
for the bands that fit with us.
Yeah, y'all open up for Great White down at the Oceanfront, a free show, so I'm sure that was packed.
Yeah, that was a good day.
It's funny, you see all these 80s bands back out touring again, and I got a feeling that's a byproduct of streaming, you know?
Yeah, probably, yeah. And also, those people are all in their, 50s and 60s, and, some of them retired already,
Yeah.
So they've got disposable income. Concerts.
And speaking of old guys, the Rolling Stones have a new album coming out.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That's amazing. If you can still do it, I guess.
I guess so. That's
awesome.
And they don't have to, certainly. They just have a love for it.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And they must have just really good doctors.
Especially Keith, right?
Yeah. His doctor needs to win a Nobel Prize.
I saw a picture. One day. It was Keith Richards and his two daughters, and it said, "This is Keith and his two daughters. When they die, Keith will get everything they own." Oh goodness! I want to thank Andrew McNeely from Sea of Souls for taking the time to do this interview with me this week. It was a real pleasure. Tremendous band. If you get a chance to see them, they are not an acoustic act, but they are one of the finest bands we have in Tidewater. I'm Michael Monahan, and we'll be back next week with another edition of the Stage Pass podcast. Don't forget, you can find us on the internet at stagepass.us and on Facebook at facebook.com/stagepass.whrv. We'll see you again next time. Have a good week, everyone.